Welcome to The Explainer. We are living through this just massive explosion in AI creativity. It feels totally new, right? But what if I told you we've seen this movie before? Today, we're going to dig into a really cool question. Are we in a new Bauhaus moment? So think about it. Back in the early 20th century, you had these game changers, mass production, the automobile, the radio. They completely reshaped society. And now? Well, now we've got the internet, AI, biotechnology. The tech itself is obviously worlds apart, but that feeling that the entire world is being remade right before our eyes, it's exactly the same. All right, I know what you're thinking. A German art school from 100 years ago. What on earth does that have to do with today's tech? And yeah, it might sound like a bit of a stretch, but trust me, the story of the Bauhaus is this amazing lens for understanding what's happening with AI right now. The parallels are just, wow, they're really revealing. You see, the Bauhaus wasn't just about, making pretty paintings or weird chairs. It was a whole philosophy. These folks looked at the rise of factories and machines, this new, powerful technology, and they didn't see a threat. No, they saw a brand new toolbox for artists and designers. Their whole goal was to figure out, okay, how do we create a new style, a new aesthetic for this new industrial age? But here's where the story takes a really wild turn. The Bauhaus was actually shut down by the Nazi regime, who called its style degenerate art. And in this, crazy twist of fate, that's what made the movement go global. The teachers and students, they had to flee Germany, and they took these revolutionary ideas with them, spreading them all over the world. It's the reason our cities, our furniture, even the phone in your hand look the way they do today. And that brings us right back to our moment. Just like the people who witnessed the first cars rolling down the street or heard the first voices on the radio, we're feeling that same mix of emotions. On one hand, there's this incredible excitement about what's possible. But on the other, there's also a little bit of unease, right? A little bit of fear about what all this change means. It's that same feeling of standing on the brink of something massive. So if the Bauhaus was all about uniting art with industrial technology, what's our version of that today? Well, it's AI. But specifically, it's AI putting the power to create, to build the future into the hands of everyone, not just the hardcore engineers. And get this, you can do it without writing a single line of code. I mean, for decades, that was the big wall, wasn't it? If you had a great idea for an app or a website, well, too bad unless you knew how to code. It was this exclusive club for people with super technical skills. But that wall, it's not just cracking, it's being demolished, and it's happening incredibly fast. This is what people are calling the rise of no-code and low-code AI, and it's a total game changer. All of a sudden, you don't need to be a programmer to be a creator. You can literally just describe an app in plain English, and boom, an AI writes the code for you. You can take a screenshot of a website you like, and an AI can clone its design. It's this huge democratization of technology, and it's creating this whole new wave of entrepreneurs and builders. Seriously, the whole process is becoming unbelievably simple. You can go from just a thought like, hey, I want an app to track my calories by taking pictures of my food, to having a working prototype in minutes. Not weeks, not months, minutes. The AI does all the heavy lifting in the background, just translating your words into a real functional app.
Okay, but this whole revolution isn't just about empowering beginners. It's also completely transforming the way professional developers work. For them, AI is becoming this essential co-pilot. It's not a replacement, not at all. Think of it more like the smartest assistant they've ever had.
Now, to really get how this works, we need to talk about something called an API. You've probably heard the term, but they're basically the unsung heroes of the internet. They're like these little messengers that let different applications talk to each other. A perfect example is the weather app on your phone. Your phone doesn't have its own weather station, right? Of course not. It uses an API to ask a weather service, hey, what's the forecast for this location? And the API brings back the answer. It's the glue that holds the modern web together. And that's where these AI code assistants enter the picture. You've got tools like the famous GitHub Copilot that plug right into a developer's coding environment. They're not a separate program you have to open. They're right there, acting like a superpowered partner, a collaborator in the actual process of writing code. And the impact is huge. I mean, industry analysis shows these things are massive productivity boosters. They're constantly suggesting what code to write next. They can spot bugs and errors almost instantly. They can even look at a confusing chunk of old code and explain it to you in plain English. Heck, they'll even write the boring test code to make sure everything works properly. It's all about taking great developers and just supercharging them. So, we've seen all this incredible power AI gives us to create and build.
It's amazing. But it also forces us to ask a much bigger, much more important question. Just because we can build something with AI, does that mean we should? And if we do, how do we make sure we're building it responsibly?
And this is so, so important to understand. Not all AI is created equal. Take a look at this. You can give the exact same prompt to two different AI models. One of them, which has safety guardrails built in, will refuse to answer. The other one, the uncensored one, it gives you a detailed step-by-step guide. Now, this isn't a glitch. It's a fundamental choice made by the creators of the AI, and it has massive ethical consequences. It's really the modern version of that same Bauhaus question. What kind of world are we trying to build with these new tools?
Honestly, this might be the central question of our time. There are, and should be, very real concerns about how AI could be used, in things like autonomous weapons or by the military-industrial complex. We can't just sit back and hope for the best. We have to be proactive. We have to actively steer this technology towards applications that actually help people.
So, what's the answer? Well, one of the most powerful solutions starts with education. We need to teach the next generation not just the how of using AI, but the why. Why are we building this? For what purpose? We need a curriculum that focuses on AI for social good, things like improving healthcare, protecting our environment, creating tools for accessibility. That's how you empower young people to be the responsible architects of the future, not just passive consumers of the technology.
So where does all this go from here? What's next? Well, we're already starting to move past the idea of AI as just a passive tool that waits for you to type something. The next big frontier, the thing everyone is talking about, is the AI agent. So what exactly is an AI agent? Think of it as the next major leap in evolution. This is an AI that doesn't just answer one question and then stop. No, an agent can understand a complex, high-level goal. It can then reason, break that goal down into smaller steps, figure out what tools it needs to use, like browsing the web or using other apps, and then work on its own autonomously to actually get the job done. And let me be clear, this isn't some far-off sci-fi fantasy. The entire tech industry is racing towards this. You hear it from all the big players. Leaders at Google, for example, have said that building these agentic capabilities is the next great frontier. It's the challenge everyone is trying to solve right now. So the real game changer here is autonomy and the ability to do multi-step tasks. Right now, you might ask an AI to find you flights. Then you ask it to find hotels. Then you ask it for restaurants. It's all separate. With an AI agent, you could just say, hey, plan my weekend trip to Chicago, and it would figure out all the steps. It would find the flights, book the hotel, make dinner reservations, and even handle little problems that pop up along the way, all without you having to guide it at every single step. Now, let's be real for a second. We're not completely there yet. We're definitely in a transition phase. A true, fully autonomous agent that can handle any complex task you throw at it, that's still on the horizon. There are some really tough challenges left to solve, but all the building blocks are falling into place. Right now, as we speak, the path forward is getting clearer every single day. And that brings us full circle, right back to where we started. Just like the Bauhaus movement a century ago wrestled with how to blend technology with human values and purpose, we are facing that exact same choice. This incredible AI creation revolution, its future doesn't just depend on how clever our code is. It depends on the wisdom, the ethics, the human values that we decide to build into it from the very beginning. AI is learning to act. The only question that matters now is, what are we going to teach it?